On YouTube, and welcome back to my channel JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this being my review for the Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 10 and episode 12. Once again, I won't be going over the entire episode, just the things that kind of stood out to me. So we start off where we left off last week with Angel giving us an explanation as to her current living situation. She's saying that she wasn't evicted. She was basically just put out. I guess being evicted would have to require you to actually have some type of rental or purchase agreement. And I'm assuming that she didn't have a rental or purchase agreement. So it is what it is. My biggest question is, why is Charisse here? Why is Charisse here? I saw Charisse walking up to Stacey and her husband, as well as meeting Arabella. And she seemed so cringy. She seemed so awkward. It seemed so out of place. It seemed like, get away from me with this, Apollo. So it was just weird to see Charisse there. And then Stacey asked the best question that anyone asked throughout this entire segment, and that is, Charisse, why did you show up in your lingerie? Why did you show up in this lingerie set from Victoria's Secret that is clearly lingerie? It's like, why? Why? Speaking of Charisse, Charisse's son Jackson shows up, and let me tell you, Jackson is fine. Like I don't know what his father looks like, so I don't know where his looks came from, but Jackson is fine. And so someone yells out, "Ashley, Jackson's here!" And we then are privy to a scene with Ashley, Giselle, and Charisse sitting at a table having a little bit to eat, and Ashley revealing to Charisse that she kissed Jackson on one night where he escorted her home after she had a few too many to drink. She says that Jackson came in to use the bathroom, and he ended up landing a smooch on her. And they're making it seem as though it went a little bit further than that. Because Ashley did ask Charisse, we have an issue if that's not where it ended. And it's like, me personally, with the fact that I personally do not want to have children of my own, I don't know how I would feel in that situation if one of my friends had something sexual going on with one of my children. It's like, but to me, like, just from the outside looking in, for me, that would be just a little bit weird. Just a little bit weird. I don't know how I would feel about that whatsoever. But anyways, it is what it is. And so Angel's feeling a little bit upset at this whole Giselle and Wendy gathering potluck type of situation because she doesn't like being, asked about her current living situation. And, she's talking to, I think it was Jazzy, if I'm not mistaken. But they were playing games. Giselle was on the mic and she was like, Angel, I know you feel a little bit uncomfortable, girl, but it's game time. It's time to get into things, girl. And so yeah, so that whole thing. I do feel bad for Angel. I don't feel like she belongs in this group. Maybe she would be better suited for a more positive reality show, whereas with Housewives of Potomac, it's all about drama. So it is what it is. Anyways, the next thing that kind of stood out to me was Wendy calling her dad. So all season long, it's been sort of kind of, relayed to us that Wendy has had an estranged relationship with her father. She went to Nigeria in the previous year with her family, and excuse me, they made it seem as though he did not want to see her because she was not able to see him when they went. And so, their conversation is a little bit awkward. Wendy's trying to, pull something out of her father. She says, we came to Nigeria and we didn't see you. And he's like, yeah, that's true. But he says, we have to leave those bad things in the past. We have to move forward. He tells Wendy that he loves her. He tells her, that he's so happy for her and Eddie and all that good stuff. And so they had a pretty good conversation, and I hope that they can procure a better father-daughter relationship as time goes on. But only time will tell, so we'll see what happens with that. Kay and Greg. So Kay's finally moving back into Greg's apartment. And he's got a gift for her. And she's like, oh, is it an engagement ring? Oh, yes. And Giselle said earlier in the episode in her confessional that, Kay, you're never going to get an engagement ring. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. The thing is, I don't know if Greg truly wants to marry Kay. Kay's made it completely obvious and, has said out loud that she does want to get engaged. She does want to get married to Greg eventually. I don't know if Kay necessarily wants to get married to Greg in particular. I just think Kay just wants to get married. I don't know if that's for plotline purposes. I don't know if that's just something that she feels in her heart that she wants to do. But it is what it is. Needless to say, the gift that he gave to Kay, he gave her some flowers, some roses. That was cute, and he gave her a picture frame. I don't know about y'all, but a picture frame for a gift, I'm sorry. Like, I don't, my pictures are in my phone. My pictures are in my tablet. Like, I don't need a picture frame for nothing. I've only printed out one picture, like, in my whole entire lifetime. Like, what do I need a picture frame for? Anyways, get this away from me. Get this out of my face, girl. I don't care about this picture frame, honey. But anyways, I truly doubt that we will see Greg proposing to Kay by the end of the season. However, it is clear that the pressure is on for Greg to do a proposal for Kay. And I think for Kay, the most meaningful proposal for her would be on camera. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so last thing I wanted to hit on is Wendy's mother and sister come over to the house to see the new renovations. The renovations on Wendy's house is now complete. It looks gorgeous. Wendy's house looks beautiful. And, when Wendy's mother and her sister comes over, she reveals to her mother and her sister that she called her father and she's trying to move on with their relationship. I knew this was not going to go down well because of the vitriol that Wendy's mother has for Wendy's father is so evident. And I understand why she feels that way. He literally abandoned their entire family. She had to work 4 jobs to be able to support her kids. And, she feels vindictive towards Wendy's father. And I get that. I truly understand that. And she's completely validated in her feelings towards him. She's not obligated to forgive Wendy's father at all. But I will say, though, that I think it's unkind for Wendy's mother to try to stand in the way of Wendy trying to procure a positive relationship with her father, because Wendy's relationship with her father is not the same as Wendy's mother's relationship with her father. So you have to allow your child to reach out. You have to allow your child to try to have that relationship with her father, because if that's what she wants, then that's what she wants. And you don't necessarily have to support her per se on that, but you don't have to drag her down and bring her down for making that decision for herself. Once again, I get Wendy's mother's position. I get why she is so upset, but at the same time, I also feel like Wendy's mother was looking for a reality TV moment. She was telling Wendy to shut the F up. She was telling Wendy, she was wrong for the decision that she was making for reaching out to her father, things of that nature. And it was very uncomfortable for me to watch. It's clear that Wendy's sister is on her mother's side. Again, I don't know if this is because the cameras were there or whatever the case might have been. But Wendy's mother has been shown to be extremely disrespectful in previous seasons as well. So this does not surprise me whatsoever. And once again, Wendy's mother does not look well. Like the color of her face is not natural. She looks smaller, but it's scary to me to see Wendy's mother at this point. It really is. But Wendy gets emotional. Wendy's mother's like, "Why are you crying?" And then Eddie comes in, and he sort of kind of consoles Wendy, things of that nature. They ask for Wendy's mother and her sister to leave, and there's the end of that. But Wendy's like, she's always getting ganged up on by her mother and her sister. And I get that. I really do get that. So I hope Wendy's relationship with her father continues to grow. And I hope that she can find some type of understanding with her mother and her sister. But that's all I've got for this review, you guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the bottom, in the bottom in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. It takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it for a brother. Also, be sure to leave this video a thumbs up. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Once again, be sure to leave leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this most recent 12th episode, as well as pressing the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Also, be sure to join me every Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I will not be going live on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025. I will not be going live. I will be taking the day off on Christmas. But every other Thursday at 8 p.m., be sure to join myself as well as Prophetic Fire Reiki and Bianca for our Hot Topics and Social Commentary show on JoJo Speaks. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, y'all.